Yeah, just finished a brutal training session. For those of you that don't know, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Been doing it for about a year and a half. Knackered, as you can see, sweat pouring down my face. So we'll definitely make sure we get some footage of me training in an upcoming video. But outside of that, I'm about to get changed, but we got another jam-packed day today. So first thing, get home, get showered up. Then after, we're gonna meet Jack and talk everything growing social brands. We're gonna talk about how I was able to get to 10K followers in only 50 days. And Jack is a complete expert on Instagram. So we're gonna talk everything, how to grow your profile, set up your brand for success, and everything in between. So for now, let's get to the Batmobile, let's get changed, and then let's get the day started. This is a very cheeky man behind the camera. See this handsome gentleman right here? This was a gift to me actually from the man behind the camera, Rich. Grateful to see, he thought, look, what a good looking chap, so why not make a picture, frame it. I'm just trying to work out where I put it now. So Rich, I appreciate you. Now I can wake up every day and look at myself. I mean, this is what dreams are made of, right? Should we put it up here? What do you reckon? On a serious note, Rich, I appreciate this. This is something special, means a lot. It was one of my favorite pictures actually from a shoot that we did, and I think it came out pretty good. If you don't ask me, what do you think? He likes it, he likes it. Boom. En route to meet Jack, talk everything social media, branding, growth, scaling, getting followers, converting followers. We're gonna, as always, have a little bit of fun with it. As you can see, the sun's come out for us as well, so it can be all smiles today. Make the most of it. Jack.
What's up, man?
Look at me, I'm dropping things out of my pocket. How you doing, bro? Good to see you.
I'm good.
You keeping well?
Of course, bro. Of course.
Good.
You know what it is.
Let's grab a coffee, man. Let's grab a coffee and then see where we end up. Should we go for a walk and talk?
Let's go for it, man.
The park?
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. Look at this, man. This is
love
love.
It's beautiful, honestly.
Just come and take it in. Jack, my man.
Bro, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you again. Mocha, man.
Of course, bro.
Latte on deck for me.
A little bit healthier than that.
Appreciate you being here, man. I think as you would have seen from some of the other videos, I love to get friends on and get people on that I personally rate or respect in one particular field or another. So you're too humble and too modest to own this title, but I see you as someone who's an expert and a thought leader when it comes to building social brands, whether it's your own or working with clients. And so who better to get on to just share some gems and a bit about your story as it relates to building your own brand and doing the same for other people. So, you know, the name of this video is about how I got to 10,000 followers in 50 days. So definitely want to get into that. But before doing that, love to hear just a bit more about you, your story, your background, and kind of how that ties into how your brand has been able to play a role in sharing your own story and things like that as well.
In terms of my story, it's quite interesting how I've gotten into this. Obviously now I have my own agency. But I would have never have predicted that when I started this journey and this process. I literally got into social media and digital marketing, because I used to do a lot of modeling when I was younger, and it was starting to become a prerequisite within the industry that you also have followers, and that when brands are looking to book you or whatever, you're working with clients, they are going to go onto your social media and effectively look at the quality of photos that you're putting out there, your personality, and they also realistically want to be able to leverage off of your audience. If you're doing work with them, and you've done a campaign, inherently you're going to start posting their pictures to your audience as well. So it's free marketing for them.
Yeah.
So I was just keen to grow my social media platform to be able to be more attractive to some of the larger agencies. But then in the process of doing it, I realized how complicated the game is, as it were, and how much it really ties into the algorithms. It's not clear cut of, this is a good picture, I'm gonna post it. It's not even as clear cut as, these are some good hashtags, I'm gonna use this. There's a lot of strategy that's involved in it, and I think I quite enjoy that process of unpicking that much, understanding the puzzle, and then obviously, being able to collaborate with other people, being around other creatives, and then that inevitably developed into me working with clients and establishing my own business. But it's really interesting for anybody who is thinking about starting their own personal brand or wondering how they can scale a business through socials or through digital. It's important to get started now, because every single year that passes, it gets harder and harder. When you take a platform like Instagram, maybe 5 years ago, scaling on Instagram is so easy.
True.
And we've seen the same thing take place with TikTok. There's a wealth of influencers that have come through that space who, got onto the platform early, and they've exploded in terms of their growth because it's not saturated. There's loads of eyes, but not that many people actually going about creating content. So it is important to ensure that you're positioning yourself on the right platforms as well, not only just going about creating the content. But hey, as you know, it's a full-time job once you get into it.
Man, I think I can definitely relate on that point. Just currently questioning myself why I chose a park, because you got all these kids making a ton of noise. Look, I think you dropped so many points of value in that. When I look at my own journey of kind of getting to this point, now encroaching the 20K mark and, working towards that infamous 100K, I feel like there's a lot of different strands that are fundamental when it comes to actually building and scaling, especially if you want to do it quickly, aggressively, whatever term you want to use. So I kind of want to answer the question that I've listed on the video and then just start to tie that into a broader narrative. So, how did I get to 10K in 50 days? For me, the first thing I did was set out a game plan. I set out a strategy. And to some people, they're gonna look and say, oh, is that authentic? Is that this? The reality is that depending on what your social brand is to you, I see it as an opportunity for me to reach more people. Yeah. I think I have a great story, I have a great message, I've been through so many things. I see it as a duty to be able to reach as broad an audience as possible to deliver value and hopefully transform lives and grow business and do all of those great things. So for me, there's really been a game plan and a clear strategy and I think I always describe it this way to you, pushing a snowball up a hill, right? You've got to gain momentum up front so that you're pushing this snowball up the hill and then you push it down and it just rolls itself. So when you look at Instagram and an actual social media platform, I find that investing in paid advertising is a fantastic way to turbocharge that pushing up the hill stage, because the reality is people look at a profile that has 10K followers and they are more inclined to follow it because they think, why are so many people following it? If someone has 100K followers, your organic growth also turbocharges because people say, well, why has this person got 100K? I'm curious and I'm gonna follow. So I invested a lot of money, a lot of time, effort and energy into the paid advertising side so that I could, push this snowball up a hill. And what I've seen since is my profile is growing organically so much quicker than it ever was before. So I'd really be intrigued to know your thoughts on actually, how do you start? Where do you start? What's your theories behind getting a profile off the ground and then starting to scale it, because you're 10K plus yourself?
Yeah, it's really interesting actually for me, because I got to my 10K through organic.
Yeah.
And then seeing you go through your process of getting to your 10K, it was very, very enlightening, because I hadn't delved that heavily into paid advertising for a personal brand in that sense. And I still don't think that a lot of people have. It's literally only over the last month that I've really started seeing a huge shift, because people are aware of the opportunities. But even with reference to that, it's a lot of people selling products. So if someone is looking to develop a personal brand, paid advertising is a phenomenal tool to utilize. Yeah. We could talk for hours about hashtag strategies, about content creation, about engaging with other people's profiles, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, I really don't think that's a very good use of time. It'd be far better for you to invest that time into your existing job or in building an additional income stream, taking that money that you've made and then investing it into paid advertising, and you'll see a lot more growth that way. But one of the things that you can't really get around is creating quality content. You have got to create quality content. You've got to put out things that people are going to be interested in engaging with. Sure. Because it's all well and good having 100,000 followers, but if nobody cares about what you're doing, then you're going to still end up having 100 likes. But definitely, I think if you're serious about scaling aggressively, then paid advertising is a great way to go.
Yeah, it's great what you just said then. I think we've spoken offline about, we are just in this phenomenal time right now where paid advertising is ridiculously cheap, and it's not going to be that way forever. So, some people say, well, I don't do paid advertising because it costs money. I get it. And this is where I went and I did an experiment, and I said, let me see how much reach I can get with £1, just to try and prove a point. And the great thing about Instagram and a lot of these other social networks is you can put in the amount of money and it gives you an estimated reach. And so when I put in the £1, it gave me an estimated reach of anywhere from 2,500 people to 4,000 people. So by a singular £1, I can reach up to 4,000 people. Let's 10x the pound to £10. And what have you got? 40,000 people, right? And so, I have to say personally, anyone that says to me they can't afford it, I'm gonna say that you're using excuses, because I guarantee I can find a habit or something that person is spending money on where it's become a choice. Even this coffee, right? This is what, £3, right? This could have been spent on advertising, right?
I think that's a very interesting point though, because I've started to think about purchases in that sense. Like, I know that this coffee, for example, is worth X amount of 1,000 people that I could reach. And it's and especially for someone like yourself, for someone like myself, where we really do want to have huge social impact. When you start quantifying things in that manner, and you're like, I could reach 10,000, 100,000, 1 million people utilizing this money, it really puts things into perspective.
Sure. So I guess when you kind of look ahead now, we're in this crazy times, the world is up, down, left and right. It's hard to know what things are going to look like tomorrow. When you kind of look ahead for yourself, your clients, what is it that are your kind of top 3 tips or your best pieces of advice right now as to how people can capitalize on this phenomenal opportunity that is social, branding, marketing, whatever the case is? What would be your advice for people to tap in right now?
The first one is you should have started yesterday. It's really that important. As soon as you finish watching this video, you need to go and start running paid advertising campaigns. Like the wealth of opportunities that are available are disgusting. And I think that's why when we have our conversations offline, there's so much excitement, because of we can see that the direction and where this is going. The second thing is you need to be creating content. Figure out exactly what it is that you have of value to the world, what your message is, what your story is, or what your product is that you can put forward as an offering, and triple down on it and just effectively bring it to the market. And then I guess the last thing would be is that you really need to be very patient with this process. It's not simple. It may look like people are blowing up overnight. You know, even when you have that 10K, that 20K, 100K, you constantly need to be paying a lot of attention to what your audience likes, what they don't like, adjusting and understanding your own self in terms of, okay, am I now stepping too far out of what I consider to be my own personal messaging? Am I reaching the wrong people? There's a lot of factors involved, but it really would be get started, create the content, create quality content, and stick with it. And I think that unto itself, you know, those are principles for life in order to be successful, is that you just need to do all of those different factors of, you know, starting, doing the work, and then not quitting. So
definitely, man. I love those. I think for me, you know, first thing I'm going to say is don't be afraid. You know, one of the biggest things I hear all the time when it comes to content is people like, I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to put myself out there. I mean, look, the upside to growing a brand far outweighs any consideration around just not doing it. You know, the opportunities you can get, whether it's growing your income, having more reach, impacting more people, you know, if that in itself doesn't mean enough to someone to just overlook being out there. I mean, why is being out there a bad thing? If you're a good person that does good things, or you got something fascinating about your story, tell people. I see it as an obligation. And when I first started doing content and I look back on the videos, I mean, you've even seen it, man. It's been a real journey. You know, I wasn't necessarily that comfortable in front of the camera, but I did it. And the more I've done it, as with anything, I've gotten better. So don't be afraid, be bold. Second thing is, you know, don't relent on investing. You know, invest in the paid advertising side of it. I think organic is phenomenal. It gets you to a certain place, but it's no different to going from primary school to secondary to university or college. For anyone from the States watching this, you know, different teachers and different things take you to that next step. So I think organic is step one. That's primary, secondary school. When you need to graduate to college and to university, you need to turn the tap on. You turn that tap on, and that's when you start hitting hyperscale and you can reach more people. And the final thing I say is consistency. You know, this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And I think a lot of people launch, you've already touched on it in your point, and you know, they're getting 10 views or 1 view or 50, and then it's like, oh, this isn't worth it. Absolutely not. The people that have been successful on this journey, they're consistent, they do the activity day in, day out over a very extended period of time. And it's no different to my channel. You know, I've just kind of jumped on YouTube, and things are going to start off small. That's part of it. But I'm going to be doing this consistently over such an extended period of time that I will win, and we will get there, and we're going to impact the people. So Jack, appreciate you coming down first and foremost. I think tons of gems in that, but you're a fitness man. You can see it. We watch the content. We've seen what you're doing. How many days in the gym consecutively now?
Do you know what? I haven't been counting the days of late, man, because
Shocker.
It's just ridiculous. I think we're at like 1,150 plus, maybe 160 now.
Okay, so over 1,000 days in the gym. So look, I don't want it with you in the gym, but I feel like we got to get a little bit of work in. There's some guys over there doing some calisthenics, so why don't we just jump on a bar, throw up a couple pull-ups, couple push-ups, and round off. You up for it?
Let's go for it, bro.
Let's do it, man. Say no more. We ready? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now we're working. 1, 2, 3. Jack, appreciate that, my man. If you enjoyed that one, please like, comment, share, and subscribe as always. Stay tuned for the next one.